Our next guest is in the studio. Engineer John Tanui is the Principal Secretary in the State Department for ICT and Digital Economy, a very crucial one for the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto. It has 5. You know, I keep reminding people it looks like this. Eco agriculture, eco health, eco housing, eco industry, MSMEs, and eco digital economy, which supports all of them.
All of them.
Engineer, how is that?
You are right, Latif.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. Welcome to the Situation Room and the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Thank you, Latif, and Charles and Ndu for this inviting me to this session. Great pleasure for me. And you are right. There are 5 key pillars that the government selected to be the transformational areas for our economy, and it's well articulated in the plan under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Yes, you are right. The first one is agriculture. The second one is, as you put it, the SMEs and cooperatives. Then we have the housing and settlements. We have the universal health care. And the last one being digital, superhighway, and the creative economy. These areas are envisioned to address some of our identified challenges, which are about 6 of them. One of them is, of course, to lower the cost of living. The second one is to ensure that we eliminate hunger in our country, to be food sufficient. The third is to create jobs, to ensure that we create jobs as a country. The fourth one is the issue of our balance of trade between Kenya and the rest of the world, that we have challenges so that we import more than what we export. So it's to address the balance of trade. We also have a challenge that the entire economy is population are not involved. We want to see that it's more inclusive in terms of engaging the whole population. So it's supposed to bridge the digital divide, bridge the barriers, and raising economy from the bottom. So those are the areas that the 5 pillars are supposed to address. I come from the 5th pillar, which is the digital superhighway and the creative economy, and we are very excited about this space because it is also new globally in terms of the digital space. When the world talked about the 2nd industrial revolution, the 3rd industrial revolution, the 4th industrial revolution, and now the digital space. So everywhere in the world, people are looking at how to make the most out of this space. So as a country, we are quite happy that it was identified as one of the transformational areas.
Very good. To welcome you to the conversation, CT has the day's proverbs, and he's telling us this week's proverbs are from the Republic of Guinea.
Yes. Not Guinea fowl, not Papua New Guinea, not Guinea Equatorial, not Guinea Bissau.
Not guinea pig.
None of those other Guineas.
Not guinea worm.
No.
Please, continue. I mean...
okay, not the currency, the Guinea.
Not the Guinea, the currency.
No, it is the Republic of Guinea. It's an interesting country. You call it West Africa, but it's actually more to Northwest Africa. And it has around 6 neighbors, including the Atlantic Ocean. It's well neighbored. Okay. The proverb of the day: he who builds his own throne rules over a desert.
He who builds his own throne rules over a desert. What a PS. What's your interpretation of this proverb?
He who builds his own throne rules over a desert.
Yes.
I would say desert is a very difficult environment. Of course, it also represents emptiness, that you could rule over emptiness. But I like the word building. And I think that's a big call. When you look at nations that have prospered, America, we have men who built America. I like that. When you talk of men who built America, men who built Korea, it's a very prestigious status in any country to ever be counted as men who built your country. So I think I would want to look on the building. Of course, a throne is the highest position that anyone can achieve. Building and sitting on a throne means the apex of leadership, the apex of honor. So as a country, I would want to see like the 5 transformational agenda areas that we have presents an opportunity for us to really create a possibility that we will have men who build Kenya in the years to come. And so the question all of us in Kenya should be asking, what are we doing to be that group of men who built Kenya? The men who brought that transformation, because we are clear we've identified our big problems, the 6 of them. How do we eliminate hunger? How do we make sure in the years to come water is no longer an issue? Because sometimes, as in one of the conversations, and an issue was raised, we need support to help Kenya resolve its water issue. And somebody asked, what water issue do you have in Kenya? And finally, it was water management issue. It's not actually water issue.
Access. It's not water sources.
Not water. We have enough water in every year, enough to last us even a few more years. So it's a water management issue. When you talk about issues of jobs, we're talking about jobs. It's a problem in our country. You make advertisement of one job, you get 12,000 applications. You go to other countries like US, you advertise 10 jobs, you get 6 applications. You go to countries like Europe now, they are facing serious challenges on meeting the advertiser job. What they talk of, I met a group of association of SMEs in Germany about 3 weeks ago, and sharing their story. The association has members of about 2,000 SMEs and startups in the ICT sector. So it was a specific sector, and they say in the last year we were unable to fill 137,000 positions. You see, so it's the reverse of what we have as a country. So we have an opportunity and say now, how do we link between us and there, and looking at our transformational agenda on digital superhighway. So maybe I can use this to now explain what the digital superhighway.
What is a superhighway exactly?
When you talk of a superhighway, we know of the physical, we have the expressway in Nairobi, we have the bypasses that we've had. Superhighway is actually an access route that you can take and access the highest speeds of possible, and also be able to reach your destination and deliver of all the things that a physical road can provide. So when you talk of a digital superhighway, we are talking about now channeling whatever goes through the digital space, which is data, messages, now even services, even digital products now can be delivered. So we are building a digital superhighway, and Kenya has made huge strides. One of the things, we are among the first countries in the region to have submarine cables land in Kenya. We had a cable called SEACOM, Teams, and as of now we have over 6 and 2 more in the progress of landing. That means we have a huge connectivity to the global space. So that's the beginning of our country's digital superhighway. Talk about submarine connectivity. Previously, we used to use satellites. That you remember Longonot Station? That's why we used to connect to the world. Then now we have connectivity on the surface. We have from Mombasa now to Nairobi, all the way across even to our borders. Fiber connected underground, through underground, some together with the railway, some with the Kenya pipeline, and we have some others over it, like with Ketraco or Kenya Power. And that is now part of the connectivity. In cities, we have something we'll call metro networks, connecting the rings of a city, so that you are able to connect all parts of the cities. And then we have what we do last mile. That means connecting to our last mile to county headquarters, sub-county headquarters, and now we've committed the 100,000 kilometers additional fiber is to connect to the ward level. And we have 1,450 wards in the country, so we want to provide this connectivity to the last mile, and this is broadband connectivity like the fiber you have in your house, so that that can be available in every part of our country. And that means we are now opening whatever is available globally, the things we are talking about, the jobs we talk about in Germany, for example. They are looking for 137,000 to fill. Probably Kenya can get a share of say 20,000 or even 10,000. Out of 10,000, you can have about half or 3,000 of them being done online, that you don't need to travel to Germany. You can walk. And now we can bring that opportunity to you in the village, in your ward, and you can be able to access this opportunity.
Yes. Just like you said, the cables, 6 submarine cables have landed in Kenya
Yes.
at the coast. Now, let's look at it infrastructure-wise. We know we have a port of Mombasa, and we look at the Great North Road that then leaves Mombasa, crosses over, takes goods to our neighboring countries and brings the goods inlands.
Yes.
This is the Mombasa Highway, okay? Now, take us through what highway, super highway we have from these 6 cables that are bringing us serious access to global internet connectivity. How do they get inlands? What kind of super highways is? I know you've talked about underground, and then there's the overhead cables on the Catraco lines and all, but paint for us the picture of how is this a highway, and then how do we get now the branch of roads, the roundabouts and the junctions to the other parts?
So first, the landing cables, they land somewhere we can call a landing station. So we have a number of landing stations in Nairobi, in Mombasa, where these cables land. So they land there, and now they can be connected to the rest of the fiber cables on the land. But on the sea, from Mombasa, you have some going through Djibouti, others to Fujairah, and to the rest of the world. So we have several global connectivity, and then wherever it reaches, it's connected to the rest of the world. And we build a whole connected world. Okay. On the land, when it lands at Mombasa, it lands with a capacity, just like a road. A road always has a capacity. It can be 2 lanes, 3 lanes. You can define how many vehicles can go on this road concurrently.
Yes.
So those capacities are what we have. Currently, what we have, I think the utilization capacity is still low. We need to generate more usage. And the vehicles that ride on this digital superhighway is data.
Okay.
Is actually data. This is the data is actually technical. You can call it payloads or whatever you can call it, but it's actually what you generate and transmit, and on the other side, it's turned into the whatever it can see. People know about like entertainment industry. That's where we know you can watch Netflix.
Yeah.
You can go to YouTube. Those are the data that you are downloading. And so on the land, there are many ways that are passed through on the sides of our roads. They are duct or overhead, and they are not just cable alone. At every point, also the equipment to provide how to connect, to enter and exit from this super highway, so that you can be able to connect to businesses, connect to our mobile network operators, connect to our institutions, connect to facilities. I'm sure even in this airspace there's a lot of connectivity to the digital superhighway for it to reach the citizens in their various locations. So that's the digital superhighway. So as we build the digital superhighway as a government, one is that it will enhance communication in the country. The mobile network operators, who are our very key stakeholders, will be beneficiaries. And that's, it will enable them over broadband, even over the air, like what we have, the 4G. So that a location that they can put a transmitting station would work better if it's connected with fiber rather than using microwave or other solutions. So it enhances the connectivity, even the voice calls across the country. The other thing it does is that now we are able to connect individuals, businesses, homes. Currently, we have about 1.1 million broadband connections. This includes homes and businesses. And we think this is still a very small number, because at the moment, like Kenya Power have connections almost 9 million. Yet the broadband connections are about 1 million. So we are just close to 10%.
If I may ask, Bonapius, why is that number, I mean, I have an idea, but why is that number low? But if we can shelve that, looking at the completion of the digital highway, taking into consideration that things change, you keep adding and progressing as you go along with global requirements, right? In terms of completion, where is Kenya right now in saying, look, anybody at some point then will be able to hook up on this, business, individual, home, whatever. In terms of completion, what percentage are we at?
Just using the pure numbers just mentioned, we are still, first we must acknowledge we have made huge progress as a country.
Okay.
It is really huge. You know, when we talk about we want to do this, we might look like we have not made progress as a country. As a country, in our capital cities and major towns in this country, you can enjoy data speeds that are as good as any top capital of the world, which is exciting. Mobile network experience across most of our cities and towns is excellent, and it's good. But the numbers are still low for the broadband, which is limited because of the infrastructure that you need to lay, just like the road network.
Yes.
The road network, we are sure we've been working on it. The previous years, government has talked of adding additional 10,000 kilometers of roads. That was the agenda. Now we are talking about adding another 100,000 kilometers of fiber. That's why government is so committed and prioritizing this digital superhighway as a key thing, because we want to connect to the last mile. And why are we connecting it? There are two major things we want to set up. We want to ensure we have a digital hub in every ward. In each of 1,450 wards, we want to have a digital hub.
What's a digital hub?
The digital hub would be a location where a youth and our citizen can go for digital skills, because we accept there is a new transformation. A new space is coming called digital space. We are used to working on the physical land, the sea, and even the air.
Yeah.
But now there is a new environment, a new domain called the cyber, the digital space. So we want to make sure our people can get the digital skills that are required to do whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter which profession you are, you need to equip yourself with basic digital skills so that you can get the benefits of what is happening in the digital space. So these digital hubs, the first role is to avail digital skills.
Okay.
Secondly, this is the location that also we can have digital work. As you can hear that globally, there is demand for talent. We are rich with talent as a country and as a continent. Looking at the average age across the world, you find countries like Japan, the average age is 48, Germany 47, all those developed countries above 40. So, and there is a new domain coming called digital space. Who are going to really be the talent to contribute and to work? It's Africa. So we want to provide this connectivity place so that our youth can work from our digital hubs and be able to serve the world. As you are also aware, we are also launching what we call public Wi-Fis. We want to launch free public Wi-Fis in all our markets, in public road stages, matatu stages, and also the markets. Why are we doing this? We want to expose our business people in the SMEs, the informal settlement, to this digital space. Even if it's about sending a WhatsApp, using application like WhatsApp, slowly they will be discovering what is this in digital space, because this presents a new opportunity to every business who will be able to lock in, because instead of addressing the customers that normally come to your doorstep, which could be 100, 200, 1,000, now you'll be able to access to global, to the global businesses. For example, Facebook. How many people use Facebook globally? 4-point-something billion. So now you are changing from addressable market. You had an addressable market of 20,000. You can actually have an addressable market of 4.5 billion people. Now that you are able to find tools and means to reach this addressable market. And so we want to expose our people to this bigger space. You can expose your products from your small town stall in Kisii. Now you got to the country. You can start exposing to your county, to your region, to the country, to the region of East Africa, and actually to the world. So that is why we're having those two things, the digital hubs and the public Wi-Fis. They are going to be huge transformational agendas for our country. The other thing about the digital hubs is that it's not only for skills and working, we also want to use it for creative. This is the platform for the creative economy. We will be able to set up simple tools and equipments that can support creativity. Anybody with capability to create content can go to a space where there is a camera, there is a tool for post-processing. They can participate in digital marketing, they can participate in content creation, animation, and many more such opportunities that will grow a new economy in such a big way.
All right. PS, you've told us what the plans are, but I must say that these plans have had them before. Since the Jubilee One administration, even before the Jubilee One administration, when the Kibaki administration was, talking about the digital economy and, landing those first cables that landed Seacom, Teams, and what was the other one? Easy cable that they landed. When they landed, we started that whole journey of bringing the fiber optic cables into the country. And then there was the whole backbone project for the NOFB project, right? It was the National Optic Fiber Network backhaul initiative of extending these fiber optics across the country. Then Jubilee One comes in, and it's the same conversation. Let's extend this and make sure that we take it to every constituency. Now we are talking about extending it to every ward. Let's take stock. Are we at every constituency? Do we have fiber optic going to, first of all the 47 counties, at least the headquarters of the 47 counties? And then beyond that, how far does our fiber optic network extend?
Thank you, Latif. As you have highlighted, the country has made progress over the years. This progress has been consolidated. It's been progressive. There is no stone that was built and we have to remove. We are building on top of what has been done before. We are just enhancing. And that's why when we talk of 100,000 kilometers, we are talking about additional 100,000 kilometers, which is a huge undertaking. We have not dared to that level before. As of now, we have, through the public sector, about 25,000 kilometers built by the public sector agencies with the Ministry, ICT Authority, Kenya Power, Kenya Pipeline, Kenya Railways. We also have what the private sector has done. Private sector has done over 35,000. So we have made progress as a country. But, and also in terms of reach, we have reached every county headquarters. We have reached a majority of the sub-counties. And that's why we are now talking about the last mile, which is connecting to the ward level. With that, we will now be talking about connecting to over 40,000 academic institutions to ensure every academic institution is connected. We will be talking about over 13,000 healthcare facilities across the country. We are talking now about what I've talked, the digital hubs, the 1,450. So we are putting numbers out there clearly to be ready to be measured, because we want to aim at these aspirational targets. We are also talking about
currently,
yes,
in the majority of sub-counties. I'd like to know how many of those sub-counties we actually are in. What do we have there? Because the whole idea was we are going to have these hubs at the county level. Then we said we are going to have hubs at the constituency level. Do we have them? So
Yes.
that then we can believe when the government says we're going to have hubs at the ward level. If I've not seen a hub in Loitoktok, which is the headquarter of Kajiado South Sub-County, how am I going to see a hub in Kimana, which is the ward?
I like that. That question focuses more about how are we using this infrastructure we are putting in place. Yes, we have connected the county headquarters, and we have a project we call Last Mile Connectivity Project. In this, we are providing unified communication in county headquarters to the county commissioner and the various departments of government in that region, the governor's office, and we have set the connectivity in the what we call local area network within those offices. We have given them tools to be able to call each other across the country, through an extension. So we have made all our county headquarters to be just like within one building. You can call the other office just from wherever you are. So that is what we've done currently for our county commissioners. We've not talked much about this project, but indeed that is the situation of what has been done. We've done most of the sub-county headquarters, probably 80 or 90% of them we've connected. We've worked in the past with our members of parliament, and we established what we call CIH, County Innovation Hubs. And this was a partnership between Ministry of ICT and members of parliament through the national CDF, where now the identified members of parliament would identify a location and set up a facility that we'll call CIH, Constituency Innovation Hub. A number of them have set up. We had partners like MasterCard Foundation who are actually working with us, and they've through their support, we've recruited managers in over 110 of them. So there are already a good number which are functional. Some very exciting, some even done by private sector. You go to Mombasa, you have Swahili Hub. You go to Lake Hub, you have one. Some done through many means, and even now we've changed that ecosystem. We have now associations. We have an association called Countrywide Association of Innovation Hubs with members, over 60-something members, who are now working together to see how do we take advantage of this digital connectivity.
But Piers, let me ask you, does the end user infrastructure or lack of it then affects all of this work that's being done? Because I can have a cable that reaches to the very end of it, but if I don't have the thing that is going to hook up to that cable to be able to use it, then there's a problem. Because there it is, but in schools, it would have been fantastic, for example, if the laptops were at schools, isn't it? Because then now here we have this last mile connection that has been made, but there's nothing to hook it up to. COVID showed us that children could have actually benefited from this if those digital hubs, for example, were at ward level and there was a connection between the last mile. So you have people in the community, even when we're not in class, being then able to learn. But we also know that this end user infrastructure is expensive to have or to possess. What then is the financial strength or ability of people for whom this has been created to actually purchase and use it? Is that coming into the conversation?
Yes, it is. We are learning from lessons in the previous deployments and ensuring we improve on it. One of the challenges has been devices, as you have put it clearly. After training someone, the next is they want to use a tool, a device, a phone or a laptop. And the previous arrangement, we provided a number of laptops in the CIH, and they are there. A good number of locations have those devices. But what we are looking is now, how do we enhance to reach everybody? One is every ward to have a digital hub. And we've started working with our TVET institutions as a pilot to see how effective, and we are very impressed with the results of this. We launched last year in November. The president launched a project we call Chitume at Kapete National Polytechnic, and this we deployed 100 devices in this location and enable our youth, and started bringing the online job aggregators to work with these students. And we are able to now roll out. We've rolled out now in 90 institutions where we have fixed this. Yesterday, our cabinet secretary was in Meru to launch. We've been in many parts of the country launching these devices, and we are very impressed with the arrangement with from Ministry of Education, because we are benefiting from the infrastructure they have, the governance structure, the infrastructure of power, because it requires reliable power and also security. And we are committed now to work with Ministry of Education to ensure in every TVET we have created a digital hub. And as you are aware, most of the constituencies, at least there is one TVET in every constituency. So this addresses that part. Next, we will also go to the TTIs and the village VTCs, village technical colleges or village
vocational
training institutions. So those will be now the locations where we will domicile these digital hubs. And we have received a lot of interest with partners who are working with us, because this is really a huge undertaking, but also so inspirational. It will actually transform how we work in our country. We've got partnership and support from World Bank. We've had discussions with many other partners. This week we signed an MOU with UNDP. So this is a very attractive project. It's still a long journey. As you mentioned, it's not easy to close it quickly, but we are committed to work this journey persistently and continually.
How will you know as you go along that then it is successful?
One of the ways we are using now to measure ourselves is, it's not a learning. As we mentioned, this digital hub is not just for learning. Yes, digital skills is one. We have partners who have put the digital skills programs. We can measure how many people have taken these courses, how many people have got certification. But the real measure we want to see is these are tools for jobs. We want to be measured by how many people are able to access job opportunities on these platforms. We have partners who are, we have one partner in Nakuru who has a facility where he is able to accommodate 300 people on a 24-hour shift. Every 8 hours each shift, and each shift 100 people. And he's able to have these people earn averages of between 20,000 a month to...
What do they do?
They are involved in digital work, remote work, and these are a varied number of jobs that are available. Some of them are, one of the biggest opportunities in the business process outsourcing or digital jobs now is artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence is creating huge demand for workers, what we call tasks, because to make an artificial intelligence function, a human being must train. They will be able to take pictures, but they need to be told, what have you seen? They need to be told, this is an asset, this is a corner, this is a building, this is a human being. Training robots and building the intelligent artificial intelligence logic requires labor, and huge labor. That entity has over 20,000 jobs currently. And we need to provide infrastructure that these jobs can be accessed by our youth. One of the things also we are looking at, and we are working with our mobile network operators, part of the digital superhighway. We realize one of the biggest bottlenecks at the moment is actually the device, the phone, because you need a smartphone. You cannot access the maximum benefits of the digital space if you have to use the *# USSD codes. You need to be able to have a smartphone. And we are very excited with what the mobile network operators have done. They've come together and they have committed to manufacture smartphones locally in the country. I have visited their factory and they are on course to actually see end of the next month of August or September, we'll start seeing a locally manufactured smartphone in the country.
What does that mean?
It means we will be able to have an affordable smartphone. And we are encouraging also the mobile network operators to come with more innovative ways so that to plug into this digital space, digital superhighway, the device should no longer be a limit. If I'm able to work online and get a digital marketing job, which can earn me even if it's 15,000 shillings a month, then to buy a phone of 5,000 should no longer be an hindrance. The mobile network operator should be able to see that I'm able to do this, then link me with this device and I'm able to get it.
Are we manufacturing or are we assembling?
You see, manufacturing, assembly is also a manufacture kind of. They are starting with basic assembly, so bringing knockdown kits and components and starting to manufacture. The percentage of local manufacturing will increase over time, because to really build a manufacturing base, just like the cases of China, to produce one product, you don't need one industry. You need to have almost 20, 30, or in some cases 200 industries to produce one
Actually,
product.
we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
That's why I asked, because then if we can do that with smartphones, why not computers?
We have to start somewhere. So we've
Why
got
can't
to
we
start.
start somewhere? Why can't it be multi-pronged? Why not start with it? Because it's not as though, from what you've said, we have investors who are willing to do this. I am certain there are conversations to do with computers. I am certain. It's just that it probably hasn't gone to a stage where you can talk about it. But you can't talk of phones and not talk about computers. Why I mention computers is, if we have this massive infrastructure, we have this massive highway, the tools by which that highway can be populated, or by which that highway can now
Be
make
utilized.
yes, fully, and achieve the ends that you have, one must have the means.
The gadgets.
Yes.
Fully agree with you, Tektari.
Yes.
Fully agree with you, but
Yes.
we've got to start somewhere. One, we are starting with the devices. And the reason why we are starting with the devices is that we are providing free Wi-Fi in the markets. We believe for these traders in the market to tap into the e-commerce. We've launched a number of Wi-Fis in the country, and it's one of the most exciting and well connecting to our citizens.
Where are
Where-
those free Wi-Fis?
We've launched in markets, Muthurwa here in Nairobi. We've launched in Meru. We've launched now almost 200 and over 300.
Over 300 markets have
Over 300.
free
By
public
the end,
Wi-Fi.
by the end of this year, we will have 2,000. We want to bring on board the private sector. As a government, we have huge assets we have built over time. We have this infrastructure we have built across the country.
Yes.
We have these teams. One of the submarine cables, the government owns a portion of it. We are bringing internet from the global. We want to see how we can use these assets and enable SMEs, these ISPs, who already have licenses. You go to Communications Authority link, and you can see how many people have registered for this. They have over 100. How many are actually operational? There are few. How many customers? They are few. We think they can play a huge role to enhance this connectivity to our homes, to our markets, to what. So at the market, we want to ensure that whoever is at the market can access the device, that the device will no longer be a limitation.
hindrance.
So that is one of the things that we are working on. For the devices, for the digital hubs, we are enhancing that, working with partners we're still bringing from outside. But there is a very exciting story also that we are doing, which is the second. The first one was connectivity, which we have explained, connectivity to connect our institutions, the digital hubs, the public free Wi-Fis, and also enhance home connection and business connections from the current 1.1 million to probably 3 million. So that's about connectivity. The second big thing we are doing is about digitalization or automating government services. This is a huge undertaking that we want to aim at a situation where, as a citizen, you do no longer need to visit a government offices, that from the comfort of your office, your home, you can able to transact using the device or using your phone or whichever means. And this will really transform how citizens access services. You will be able to eliminate the challenges with the human interaction. You will be able to automate and shorten the time certain processes take. You will be able to lower the cost of a citizen. You don't need to travel. That cost of paying for matatu from one point to another one, or the time you would have used, you can use it for some other better uses. So that digitization, for us to have crossed the 5,000 mark in terms of services one can access, is a huge undertaking that the rest of the world is really admiring.
Actually, it is.
Yes.
It is. It's actually not just you. It's amazing.
Yes.
If I just look at our telephone connectivity and how it is, that sector and the innovations therein within this country, it is amazing. Now,
Excellent.
how we use the phone, how we use the services that our phones are able to provide, it paints a very clear picture and relates directly to what you're saying. But part of the reason why this is so is because the benefits are direct. That I can call when I want, that I can send an SMS, that I can do whatever I can do with my phone is a direct benefit. That I don't need to queue at the post office to send money to my relatives in my village is a great benefit. Now, the communication bit of all this, how well has your ministry set up or is undertaking the communication of the very things that you're saying beyond this show that we have, so that the citizenry can actually not just understand but can partake in all these things that are happening at the same time.
And they can see the progress.
Yes.
When they see land being dug up, they know it's
They
the
know that's
cable
what's
that's
happening.
coming,
Yes.
and we're going to have a hub here,
Yes.
and there's going to be free Wi-Fi at
Yes.
our market.
Yes.
I fully agree with you. There is a cap on our communication. We need to enhance and extend this. And we need to adapt to where our citizens are. The mode of reaching out is changing. I appreciate this show, and it's really one of the shows that is a must-be for important initiatives like this.
Could
and
you
we are
just
able
repeat
to
that
reach.
statement you've just made again, please?
Yes, these
this
are
show is
Daktari, you are right. I appreciate this is a very important show that important conversations of our country needs to be put, and that's why I came. So we are enhancing our communication. We believe this is touching actually to the citizen, and just taking a bit on the aspect of what it means to digitize. Is one is for the services to be easily accessed by the citizens.
Yeah.
On the back end, we want to achieve a paperless government. This will bring accountability to a new higher level.
Kill corruption.
Transparency to a new level. You cannot change a digital stamp. Once it has stamp received at this hour, this minute, this second, it's fixed, it's firm. If you have to wait for 7 days, you cannot change that. If you have to change, you have to provide how to change. So it will bring transparency to our process. So we want to actually work towards a fully paperless government. We will enjoy huge benefits. And then we will release our resources to do more creative and better things. So we are working to digitize on the backside of the government. On communication, to enhance our communication, and reality is that now we have digital platforms. I believe even as we talk now, a good number of people are not hearing us from the airspace. It's through their mobile device or their computers. They can follow you in the digital space. So we are looking, how do we adapt as even government to advertising through the digital platforms? And a directive has been given to us to see that even in our budgeting, marketing, that we actually segregate a minimum of 10% to use the digital space to reach out, because we need to communicate the opportunities. And taking you to the next space, that the citizens can enjoy government services, can enjoy the digital infrastructure we have laid, but we think what these devices and connectivity is bringing is opportunities. Globally, now conversations, when there are country-to-country trade negotiations, now digital trade comes as one of the most important things people are discussing. The growth of the digital trade or contribution of the digital space to GDPs of countries is huge. And as a country, if we prepare well and tap into this, we'll be able to create huge opportunities. And that's why we want to position our country to be a top ICT outsourcing location, a top business process outsourcing. We want to also host global digital infrastructure in the country, infrastructure called cloud infrastructure. We want to see what is being hosted in Middle East, in US, in Europe, to be hosted here in Kenya.
Exactly.
Hosting one data center, mega scale, creates 10,000 jobs, 5,000 to 10,000 jobs, direct and indirect. And additionally, it exposes our people to new opportunities in terms of technologies and new possibilities of things that we can do. The most new coming millionaires and billionaires in the world, or people who are on the digital space. And the more we expose our people, we have opportunities to be the solution provider for the continent. The rest of the continent is waiting to see what is Kenya doing. What e-commerce solutions are we doing? Ministry of Agriculture and Trade are looking at building an aggregation center in each of our counties and industrial parks. How do we now open these opportunities for our business people to use technology and to be able to connect us locations to the rest of the world. Nowadays, you can actually buy an item in China in a location, a factory, you have no idea where it is. But because of digital infrastructure, you can access and know everything. That's the possibilities we want to create for Kenyans, and want to encourage them that it's not just when you go to digital space now, it's not about entertainment only. Yeah, in fact, when you go and you're enjoying entertainment, somebody else actually is making money out of you.
They've created it.
How can you be able to be a participant? You can do as simple as digital market, and you can earn money. You can now also participate in a digital product. There are many digital products nowadays, whether it's educational, whether it's entertainment. The creative sector is huge. We visited one city in Korea.
And yeah, I want to tell you, 1 hour is a short time. You'll come again. This is the beginning of our conversation, because it's important that we all see and seize the opportunities that are being created by the digital superhighway, right?
Yes.
And yes, in terms of having those hubs, I don't see why a place that has sufficient power like Suswa cannot be hosting global data centers.
You are very right.
Or Loyangaland.
92% of our power is renewable.
Yeah,
it's an attractive element to the rest of the world.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Engineer John Tanui is the Principal Secretary in the State Department for ICT and Digital Economy. Transforming the digital industry in Kenya has been our conversation.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.